And welcome back, everyone, to Zanpakuto Creation Series. Today's Zanpakuto Creation Series request comes to us from Ricardo Player 1, who asked the question, what is Legoshi from Beastars Zanpakuto? I've done his Resurrection, pretty simple. Resurrections are a lot easier to do than Zanpakutos, because I just had to literally take the abilities of someone and try to convert that into a transformation, hollow, all that. But with Zanpakuto, it's nowhere near as simple. It's not about translating the ability to the Zanpakuto. It's about finding something that matches who they are deep down inside. Something, an aspect of them as an individual person. Their spirit, their tone, their personality, all that. So with that said, Legoshi has a living creature / melee type Zanpakuto with a couple extra abilities added on to it. We don't see a lot of living creature type Zanpakutos very often, but when we do, they're pretty cool. Its standard form, though, is still a sealed katana. Now, its release is Shed Your Fears, which translates very well to Legoshi in terms of who he is as a character. He's always been afraid of his darker half, his predatory half, his predatory side, all that. He's always tried to, do well by that, but he's scared of himself. But eventually, he comes to his own, and ultimately matures into a more, responsible person through that. Now, its name is Hybrid, or Hayaberdo. Its Bankai's name is Nature's, how did I do it? Nature's Truth Hybrid Balance, I think I wrote it down. Or, this, I'm going to do my darndest here. Nicha Zuto Uruzu Hayaberdo, or Haiberido Barasu. So, the Shikai of the Zanpakuto is technically a dual type Zanpakuto on its release. Getting a drink real quick. A dual style on its release. One of the very few. Because of the nature of Legoshi, I think it is important that it is represented in a dual nature. Because the spirit of the Zanpakuto, it shifts between that of a humanoid-esque to just monstrous lizard to a humanoid-esque monstrous wolf because of his hybrid physiology. Now, he's not a true 50-50 hybrid. His mother was a 50-50 hybrid. He's a quarter hybrid. But, more to the point, it still is important because he is a hybrid. I think he has a dual-type Zanpakuto. It's one of the rare cases I think it's necessary. And what it ultimately comes out to is he has these two almost gauntlet shields in the shape of a wolf's jaw and a monitor lizard's jaw. And one is used primarily for defense with some minor, sharp teeth. That would be the wolf's jaw. And then the lizard's jaw has more razor teeth used for slicing and cutting. So ultimately, one is used more for the defensive side, one is used more for the melee side of things. And he can combine them into one for kind of until basically two halves of the same jaw, if you will, because one's the lower jaw, one's the upper jaw. And he can combine them together for one big chomp attack, which kind of rings, which almost has like a rebound sonic effect to it. Now, the Bankai, though, that's where the living creatures Zanpakuto comes in. Because in his Bankai, the spirit, first off, finally coalesce into a 50-50 hybrid of both. Him reaching Bankai, I think, would also be a little different than for a normal Shinigami, because each Shinigami is unique. Usually it's the same type of, training method for each Zanpakuto, but occasionally there are different methods to get to Bankai. For example, Yajiro and Zaraki are a very unique example of that. I think him finally accepting his heritage, obviously Zanpakuto submission, can finally access his Bankai. His Bankai, I think, has to have the Shikai activated. Well, not have to, but I think it looks cooler if the Shikai is activated first, because the jaws separate, grow, and basically merge into not a true fleshy avatar, but a wolf fur lizard armored reptilian hybrid monster. And it's four-legged kind of what's the best way to put it? It's kind of like a bear. I think that's the best way to put it. Body type, it's design, it's a lizard, monitor lizard wolf hybrid, but with a body type closer to like a bear, where it can go on like its hind legs and walk and move like that if it has to. It's more comfortable on all fours. It's very large too, not quite say Komamura's Tengen Myo large, but it's very large, like at least say Mizuki large. And this is where the extra abilities of each come in. The wolf aspect of it grants him a lot of ferocity, extra like claw strength, enhanced bite, but also a sonic howl effect. So, just basically just roaring and releasing a sonic blast from its mouth. The lizard aspect of it, the Mandra lizard aspect, also allows it to have intensely thick hide and have a regenerative factor. Similar to Komamura, I could see Legoshi actually being connected to his Zanpakuto, and therefore he actually would be healing from wounds too. Should note, I think Legoshi's sword is gone here, unlike Komamura, who keeps his sword. It moves on its it moves on its own accord, but will react to Legoshi's will and command as well. Beyond that, though, I think it's possible. I think you could also have a cool ability like clinging scale ability. It also does like the sonic attacks as well, kind of like just boom, like a sonic blast of Ryatsu. And it'd still be like arms and teeth of blades. It's in jaw strength to be able to tear individuals apart. It would be a very effective Bankai for someone like Legoshi, who's not dumb or anything. He's intelligent, but is also very much a brute force fighter in many ways. He has no special abilities. He's also kind of simplistic isn't the right word. He's kind of straightforward in his way of thinking. So I think that works. Now, like anything, the Zanpakuto is not infallible. A strong enough attack could seriously damage the Bankai, for example. For example, cutting off limbs can't necessarily be grown back easily. Lizards can grow back their limbs. But it'd be something that over the course of the battle, maybe the limb could grow back. And so if Legoshi got the arm cut off, yeah, his arm would eventually grow back because it's connected to his Bankai if the Bankai stays activated. But strong enough attacks will just, completely annihilate this, especially if you take the head off or cut it down the middle, something like that. Also, despite the fact it has a range attack, it is predominantly a melee Zanpakuto. Particularly in Shikai, it's a melee Zanpakuto. There is one minor kind of effect attack with the clamping of the jaws together, but otherwise it's just not a ranged weapon. It's not an elemental type either. It's got no advantages against elements. It might be able to resist something like low levels of fire, especially in Bankai, but you get someone like Ryujin Jika or even Ishin's and Getsu, and that's just going to kind of incinerate it a bit. It won't be able to withstand that level of heat. And yeah, I think that would be about it. It's not like it's an infallible Zanpakuto, but it's just a pretty straightforward, fun Zanpakuto, and I think it fits well for someone like Legoshi, who is a hybrid. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you for the next one.